Hi guys, so today I'm showing you how to make Slabbust, and this is going to be a lot shorter and easier than like the past videos because it's a very simple concept. So if you don't know, slabs are a defense used in factions because you can't really stack sand. So basically what Slabbust does, if this is a wall and you have a bunch of slabs and you're shooting the shot up here, and here's the hammer, and here's the sand. Basically in the sand, you're going to have a little bit of TNT, and you're going to use the hammer, the combination between the hammer and this Slabbust TNT to tunnel down these slabs before you stack sand. So it's actually just a tunneler using the hammer as the down TNT. So you know how a tunneler has two sets of TNT, one on a repeater and one on a comparator in the same tick. Well, the Slabbust is the one on the comparator, and the hammer itself, the regular stacking hammer, is the one on the repeater. So we're just taking advantage of the regular stacking hammer that gives already velocity to the sand to also give velocity to the Slabbust. Right now, it doesn't do anything with the slab. It breaks it with the nuke, actually, I think, yeah. But that doesn't count because it's supposed to do it in one shot with Slabbust. So now let's add the Slabbust. So it goes in here in the nuke compartment with the sand. With the first power. It gets shot with the first power because it needs to end up under the hammer, not in the same block. It needs to end up under the hammer, so it gets shot down by the hammer. So it's going to be the same exact tick as the hammer, so it's so easy because I can just, copy the ticks from here. So 2 3s, a 4, and a 4, but it's on a comparator because that makes it render later. If you don't know, I already have a video, the efficient nuke video. I explained tunneling, exactly how tunneling works, and this is just another application of tunneling. But you need to remember that a comparator is 1 redstone tick, so I need to subtract 1 redstone tick from here. So now they're actually equal from that block. It's both 14. And then after this, I can just simply have Slabbust. It's basically 1-to-1. As in, every TNT you add to the Slabbust, it'll destroy 1 slab. So if you have to go through walls that have 200 slabs, you need 200 Slabbust dispensers. But this is like 26 right now. You can always use node counter and see that they're equal, and they need to be exactly the same. And then if you fire, it should look like nothing's happening. Basically, like it should stack fine and nuke exactly the same. If it's too early, what will happen is it'll interfere with the sand and hammer before it's even stacked, and it won't stack at all. It'll just completely screw it up. And if it's too late, then it'll get hammered all the way down to the floor, and it'll not have exploded yet, and the sand will stack with it, so it'll be inside like the bottom sand blocks. So basically it needs to be the right time, obviously. So as you can see, I made walls with exactly 26 slabs because that's how much Slabbust I have. You can see that the explosion box is from the tunneling right before, and it is 1-to-1 because you can see 1 explosion box on 1 slab. So I guess I'll also talk about clipping because there are some clipping problems associated with Slabbust. Basically, people have different definitions of clipping, but it's basically the real definition, I think, is like if you prevent the sand from stacking fully. So like if you do something like this, it gets stuck for a little while. And then that time it broke it. But if they're like in the patch ocean or something, like that's a full ocean now, it's gonna be a lot worse. I think it'll be infinite now. So it'll just clip forever. So basically, like I'll basically explain why this happens. It only happens with the Slabbust on. And so what happens is you're shooting here, you shoot your sand in first and it falls a block, then you shoot the hammer, and then they actually both fall a block. and your Slabbust is with your sand. And basically like your hammer goes off and shoots your Slabbust and sand down. And what happens is your Slabbust hits here trying to tunnel. It explodes here, and the game's like calculate how that affects the other entities around. And because this is within 7 blocks of the hammer stuff, which is still up here, like, you know, waiting up here for the sand to stack up to it, it's affected. But because it's affected, it's blown away. So the sand does stack, but these are blown away, so it never is able to stack the top sand. And people stack at this height to because they're expecting the one-shot sand to be there so it can connect to the patch. But if it doesn't, then you never hit the patch, so it just blows up. And then what's left here is basically just the nuke TNT here blows up the sand again and again. So there are a couple of ways to solve this. One way is to barrel stack your sand, so it just shifts everything up one. So I have the next video is the 1Rev video, so you'll hear about barrel stacking, but it basically stacks the regular sand here and then up to here, so it'll always break that. But the problem with barrel stacking is that it also clips in a different way, so it's kind of like annoying. Honestly, the best way is probably to have your Slabbust off when you're not using it, but if you need to, basically what you can do is like you can put part of the Slabbust on a 1-tick delay or 1 game tick if you can, because what that's going to do, like, remember how I said if you delay like the Slabbust if the Slabbust is too late, instead of tunneling, it'll just stack at the bottom of the sand. Well, this just forcibly stacks it at the bottom of the sand. So, well, it's not that it forcibly stacks it, it's just that it hasn't exploded before the sand comes in and stacks in it, and then it explodes with the sand there in the same block, which is hybriding. So it'll actually try to hybrid this thing. So when you actually stack here, you have like some sand or some TNT that blows up there. So we can test that. Basically, that's called Anticlip. That's what most people will agree is considered Anticlip. And what you can see that it removes that, and then the next shot it breaks that. So, and it looks very fast because the sand just stacks, and then 1 tick later after the hammer it blows up. But there are problems with that as well. Basically the problem with it is it's going to screw up the full nuke if you have a full nuke, because it makes like a gap of water down there. And but if your job of full nuking is only to just destroy the bottom blocks, then who cares, because it'll definitely destroy the bottom blocks. But in the overstacker video, I'll actually show the no compromise solution to like Slabbust clipping, which is actually my idea. But other than that, that's literally it for Slabbust, and I'll see you in the next one.